Hello, people. Welcome back to another video by your good friend Chad Marco. Make sure you slice the like button in half and subscribe, all that good shit. And let's talk, man. So I want to talk about working out and exercise, training, if you will. And you know, I know people have seen the video that I put out where I talked about starting going to the gym, and you guys have seen my awesome physique a few times, and I've gotten people or questions from people about my workout routine and stuff like that, and it kind of gave me the idea to just do like a quick video talking about how I got into working out and my mindset in regards to exercising and working out and whatnot. And so I want to go back to the beginning, right? And and this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but I remember my first motivation to get into working out was because I really wanted to be super skinny. Growing up, I was always kind of skinny fat and I wanted to be, you know how Soulja Boy was like really skinny? I always liked that kind of physique where you could just put on any type of outfit, like skinny jeans and all that, and just still look cool. And because I was always skinny fat, I could never pull off those types of looks. And it's so funny because my whole motivation for getting into working out started with me just wanting to be full twink mode, basically. And that's where it all started though. And I remember some of the earliest things I would do as far as working out was I would run on my mom's treadmill. But I think what really got me going was when I got some, I think they were 20-pound dumbbells from a friend. And what I would do is, now this was around the time I was maybe about 18, I say around the 18, 19-ish, right? And what I would do, I would get up 6 o'clock in the morning just about every day, and I would watch some anime. Anything from Gurren Lagann to Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, you know, a lot of entry level stuff that I was watching at the time. And what I would do is I would have the anime playing on my laptop, and then I would be standing up watching it while doing curls with the little 20-pound dumbbells. And that's really where it all started for me. And then I remember I took it to the next level by, okay, so I would watch the anime and just curl with the dumbbells. Then after that, I was like, I want a little bit more. And so I would go to the living room and I would clear the floor. And then I would start playing some music, video game music, anime music. And I would just do a different assortment of different workouts and stuff like that. I would do shadow boxing, kicking, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever I could do with my very bare minimum knowledge of working out at the time. And that really took me to like that extra level because I wasn't just confined to doing the dumbbell curls. Now I was really getting active. And if you think about it, that's a pretty good workout. Even though I didn't know what I was doing, just the amount of time I spent working out. Because you're talking about wake up at 6, 2 episodes of anime is about 45 minutes. And then I go to the living room and now I'm doing more workouts while listening to music. So I was getting about an hour and 30 minutes in. And from there, I just really fell in love with that whole process. And but remember, my original intent was to go twink mode. But the funny thing about it all is that even though I was starting to fall in love with working out, I could never quite get my dieting right. I was still eating like too much junk food and shit. And so what ended up happening slowly but surely was that I was building muscle because I was working out a lot, but I was eating a lot too. Now, granted, eating bullshit, but look, calories are calories. And when you're working out, those calories going in, instead of turning to fat, they turn into muscle. And I just started to notice a little bit that damn, like my body is starting to change a little bit, right? But this is still early, right? So my body hadn't really undergone like the full transformation that it would eventually. Now, before that, I started getting into running. Now that was next. And I can remember the night I started getting into running. And I was watching Toonami. Look, we're gonna have to talk about anime in a little bit, because anime is one of the big inspirations for me in working out. But I was watching Toonami, and I think Naruto was on, and it just got me all pumped up and motivated to just start working out and getting in shape. And I remember I had on like some swim trunks, some Crocs, and a t-shirt. And I went outside maybe like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning while Toonami was on, and I just started doing some quick laps around the block. And that's where the whole running thing started. And again, maybe here I'm about 21, 22, 20, somewhere around there, like early 20s basically. And that's what got me into running. And so now I'm combining all these things, right? So I'm doing the dumbbell curls while watching anime. Every now and then I'll go and work out in the living room, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever. And it's funny because it's so amazing when you can look at yourself at point A to point B to point C and all that, because I distinctly remember a time when I could barely do 20 push-ups, and like it was such a struggle just to hit 20. And then I remember like maybe a few years after that, I was doing 75 straight. And the most I ever done at one time was 100. And so just looking at the progress I made, barely being able to do 20, and then escalating all the way up to like 75 to 100. Amazing. But I can remember when I took it to that next level, because I had basically perfected the 25. I was like, I can do 25 push-ups easily, or relatively easily. So I was like, why not double that? And that's how I made 50 the new standard. Because I was like, 50 is just 25 twice. So just do what you already know how to do 2 times. But back to running though. So it all started there that night watching Toonami, and then going out and running in those Crocs. And I would always get my headphones and an MP3 player and just have like some, again, video game music, anime music, rap, whatever I was into at the time. And I would just do a couple of laps around the block. Now, over time, I would get more organized and sensible about it, because obviously running around at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, not very wise. But once I got a good schedule and everything, I started doing running around like 4 and 5 in the morning, a more sensible time to go jogging and shit. And then I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing myself more and more. And before I knew it, like that was really my most preferred, beloved workout, running. And I really got into it. And then came the next step in my evolution, if you want to call it that, because I would always do running like early in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, when nobody was around. I was still kind of self-conscious about it, but I don't know. It must have been one spring or one summer. Oh, in fact, I remember now. It was because now this was way before I got my car, and I needed to go uptown to sell some stuff because I was trying to buy some weed or something. So I was gonna sell like a few video games at Traded or something like that. And I was just getting tired of asking my mom for a ride all the time. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just walk all the way uptown. And so naturally, as I'm walking up there, I'm thinking back to all the working out and running I've done. I'm like, why not just run there, or at least run part of the way there? But of course, again, the whole self-conscious aspect of it, people see me running around. But I said, fuck it, and went ahead and just started running, and I would run, stop, shit like that. And that's when I took in the beauty of running during the daytime, though, like under the sun and the clear, like that's a whole different vibe. And then so whenever I would take those long trips uptown, I would do the whole, run for a while, stop, jog, whatever. And so at this point, I'm really trying to perfect the whole running thing. And I'm still doing everything else. And I can remember like, oh man, I was going hard with the push-ups and shit. I mean, I would just somehow in this little room, I would make enough space and I would crank that music up, and then I would just let myself go in, and I would just go as hard as I could. And I would say on average, I was doing like 250, 300 push-ups every workout, on top of like the other stuff I was doing with the dumbbells and the sit-ups and stretching, whatever I could do in my little ass room or the living room. So I'm still doing that, but running is definitely becoming like my preferred workout. And so I'm pushing myself in that regard more and more too. And I can remember the first time I had ran all the way to the library from my house, which really is not that far, but it was a nice hump. Like it was like a new milestone for me. And I'll never forget that because, and I'm gonna sound corny as hell when I say this, but I kept thinking like, it's girls out there that can run further than you. And somehow that shit just motivated me to push through all that pain and finally get there. And then I felt really accomplished with that. And then that became like a new normal, running all the way to the library without stopping, and then chilling at the library and reading for a bit, and then running all the way back home. And so all this is happening probably around like my mid-20s. If I wasn't running, then I would just go on long walks while listening to audiobooks. Like I was really on some crazy self-improvement shit. Like if I wasn't running somewhere, I was walking while listening to knowledge, soaking up knowledge and shit. So I was really focused, and in some ways more focused than I am now. But yeah, more and more I was just getting into the whole running thing. And then I noticed people around town, they started noticing me running, and they would stop me and ask me about it. Some people thought like I was some people thought I played football or was a boxer or something like that. I'm like, nah, I just I just try to stay in shape, man. And so people around town was noticing because I was going running that much that I had kind of become like this mysterious figure in the city and whatnot. But kept pushing it, and then I think like the next level beyond that was, okay, let me run all the way from my house to the mall or the Walmart, which is like, I mean, thought the library was bad. That's a whole different right. And I failed the first like 2 attempts, but eventually I got it down. And I've done that several times since then, but that run was definitely kind of proof that I really invested a lot of time into the whole running thing. And fast forward to now where I have a gym membership. I go to the gym regularly. Now, I've actually kind of slowed down with the running because, and this happens every fall, every winter, because I just don't like the cold. And I just started getting back into it recently. But still been going to the gym consistently. And I love the gym because of just the wide range of different machines and just different ways you can work. Like everything you need is there. And it's so much more of a variety and ways to attack different body parts with various workouts between the machines and the weights and the cardio machines and all that. And of course the big booty gym thoughts sort of putting in a little bit of the cheerleader effect, you know, whether they acknowledge it or not. But yeah, I remember when I first started going to the gym, I felt right at home. At first it was a little awkward because, you know, you just kind of get that sense of people judging you and not knowing what you want to do is so much. And then I'm faced with all these machines and I don't know how most of them work because I'm so used to doing everything at home. Very simple workouts. I'm a sit up, push up, run guy. And now I got all this stuff around me. And, but me, you know, I'm not that shy. So I would ask people like how to use certain machines. I remember I asked like this big black dude how to use the pull down machine. And, you know, he gave me the whole rundown and stuff like that. So, man, I remember though, when I first started going to the gym, I felt right at home. And, now we are here today. and that was my wonderful journey into working out. And again, just thinking back to that original motivation of wanting to be like this twink mode. And then just going in the opposite direction because I just would work out so much without correcting my bad eating habits. So I just end up getting bigger and but more muscular, right? And then it's one of those things where it's almost like other people noticed it before I did. Like other people would say, "Oh man, you got bigger," or "Damn, like you look like you just got out of jail, man." And shit like that. And it took a while for me to internalize it. But over time, it became even undeniable to myself. Like, damn, like I really got so into working out that I was able to do something special with my own body. And, at the point where I'm at now, though, I'm definitely trying to correct my poor eating habits alongside my addiction to working out. Just kind of bringing all of it together, because I know once I do that, I'll be able to get even more out of my body, not just in terms of aesthetic beauty, but also just feeling good and feeling better in general. So I've been doing more things like, eating vegetables and cutting out some of the more like junky food and eating more fruits and things like that, multivitamins. Yeah. Right. But I'm trying. But man, I think as far as like the whole body transformation thing, the best moment for me was when my half brother had came over a while ago, and he's older than me, and then he had looked at me and he said, "Oh, you the big little brother now." And for me, that was like that moment in Gurren Lagann when spoiler alert, when Simon had met the spirit of Kamina, who was deceased at this point, and Kamina was always the big bro. And then, but at this point, Simon was even bigger than him. And then Kamina was like, "When did you get when did you get bigger than me?" It was like that, and that's when I felt like I really arrived. When your big brother acknowledges you, that's really something special. But the main reason why I wanted to make this video, though, was to talk about like mindset, mentality, because I see a lot of people, not a lot, but I see some people who really detest working out and don't like it. I saw a thread on R9K the other day where somebody was talking about like how much they hated working out and how pointless it was and shit like that. And I feel like I'm the opposite, right? In a way, I kind of have that Goku gene of just feeling like working out and training is fun. Like for me, working out is generally something that I look forward to and I enjoy. And a lot of times the people around me, they don't understand how I can do some of the things that I do, as far as like going out running in the sun, running all the way uptown in the sun, and working out, going to the gym and all that shit. And it got me thinking, like, what is it about some people who just seem to have like this completely different, altered attitude when it comes to working out? And in a way, I feel blessed. Like for whatever reason, I'm one of the type of people that just loves working out. Now, definitely sometimes I do have to force myself to, like, I don't always feel like doing it for sure. I definitely have my lazy days, and you guys can attest to that. But generally speaking, working out is just something that I enjoy, and it's one of the things that I've been able to do consistently over the years, enough to always keep myself within a decent range of physical fitness, that or a good range of being physically fit. And so I've been kind of reflecting and going inward into my own mind and trying to see, like, what is it about me that allows me to actually enjoy working out and look forward to it. And maybe I can pass that on to you guys or someone else. And I think there are really several points I could make, right? And this, I'm just go ahead and get the corny shit out of the way. Without a doubt, I think anime has been one of the biggest motivations for me, not just in general, but as far as working out and training, definitely anime. Because if you're somebody that has ever watched anime, one thing you'll always notice with not with every anime, but whenever, especially like a anime that has a protagonist that starts off young or a child, and then it takes place over the course of several years or many years, and you see them go from an inexperienced pupil or novice to a grandmaster. Like, look at Naruto, where he begins and then he ends up becoming Hokage. Look at Luffy, where he begins and then now he's basically a laughing god. Look at Goku, how he started in Dragon Ball and then now he's battling with the gods, right? When you look at these different anime characters, oftentimes you will see them have to undergo some sort of training arc or period where maybe they suffer some sort of defeat or setback, or maybe a new obstacle appears and they know that they have to really get themselves in shape, or beyond in shape, but prepared to fight for their lives. I remember in Yu Yu Hakusho, during the Dark Tournament arc, when younger Toguro first appears. Well, this is his first appearance, but he was basically pulling up on Yusuke and letting him know, when you first met me, I was not trying my best. Let me show you a sample of what my best is like. And he buffed up and started breaking bricks and pillars and shit and scared the hell out of Yusuke. And the first thing Yusuke did was go back to Genkai to have another harder training arc. And you see stuff like this all the time in anime. And even just recently having watched Demon Slayer. The beginning is pretty much as him learning the basics of slaying demons, and then towards the end he goes through another training arc where he perfects his breathing, and just to take himself to the next level. And even like Cowboy Bebop, I remember now Cowboy Bebop never had like a training arc, but I can remember one of the episodes. You see Spike get up early in the morning and he starts stretching and doing like some karate. And so you see that he wakes up and he has a process. And it's just like, you don't see it throughout the anime, but it's established that Spike isn't just kicking ass for no reason. He's disciplined. He wakes up and the first thing he does is train a little bit. Samurai Champloo, same thing. Mugen had a little training session, little training arc, when he got challenged by that one guy. I forgot who the guy was, but you see it in a lot of anime basically. And anime, like I said, has always been a source of inspiration for me. And obviously, as human beings, we're not gonna have the powers and the abilities of most anime characters. We're not going to be able to go Super Saiyan. We're not going to be able to throw Kamehamehas. We're not going to be able to summon or awaken the great fox demon within. We're not going to be able to stretch our limbs out or do superhero stuff or make chainsaws come out of our necks or ass. Right? But one thing that we can do is train. One thing that we can do is work out and continue to push ourselves physically, as far as strength, reflexes, running, speed, whatever the case may be. And I think in a way, and again, I know some people think it's corny, but it's, for me, it's just one of those ways that I could take something of value from anime and make it a part of my life. Just that daily training and pushing yourself to be better physically, as well as in terms of your character and integrity and things like that. But we're talking about working out here. And so I say all that to say that, you know, if you are lacking in motivation or inspiration to work out and train, you know, sometimes you got to find that. It might not necessarily be anime. It could be just like, what's your favorite sport? maybe your favorite sport is basketball, and maybe you see Kobe Bryant as someone to look up to, or LeBron James or Giannis. And then you look at these guys, and it's pretty much the same principle. They don't just come out winning championships for nothing. There's a process. There's a lot of training and preparation and hard work. And so, again, you might not be NBA champion, but you could take a piece of what has allowed them to succeed and implement it and make it a part of your own life, as far as taking care of your body and pushing yourself physically. Another aspect too, though, is just that it feels good. I always notice, and I notice it more than ever in recent years. And like I said before, I'm not always disciplined to the point that I need to be. And so it's unusual, but I will have those times where, like, generally I want to work out about 5 to 6 times a week. But I have those weeks where I get about 3 or 4 in, right? And I just noticed quickly that there is just a dip in how good my body feels. I just don't feel as good when I'm not working out. And I know that consistently, almost without fail, whenever I have a good, solid workout, I always feel better after it. I always feel like my body just feels better. My balance feels better. I feel more mentally clear. And it's just like everything within myself is just flowing. Like the toxics have been, or the toxins have been purged from my body. I just feel like the airways are just flowing like a breeze. The veins in my body just pumping blood with ease, man. And because it's funny because I have those days where I do got to give myself a bit of a kick to work out, and then on those days, during those times, I always look at myself like, I can't believe I almost didn't work out because I feel good. Right? And I remember when I was working my job, it was one of the places we would clean was a medical center. And there was this paper on the wall, and maybe I'll actually do a video about this later just to get more into the scientific aspect of it, because there actually is like science behind this. But in a nutshell, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, the paper said that something along the lines of how working out is one of the, I think, underestimated or something like that. Basically, like, it's one of the most underappreciated forms of antidepressant or antidepressants. And when I saw that, because I would see it like every day, and I was like, man, like that shit is so true. Like whenever I work out, I just feel better. I just feel better afterwards, especially when you get that after workout shower and you get dressed up and everything. It's just like, whoo. So that's another motivation for working out, though. It's just, it makes you feel better. Even if the working out itself can be hard and you're sweating and it can hurt and you're pushing yourself, when it's all said and done, it's a feeling of relief that you carry throughout almost the remainder of the day. And for my last point, I would say that you got to make working out fun. And if you remember what I said in the beginning, I would watch anime while I was working out. And then I would go and listen to music and do working out. Even again, running, I'll be listening to music. And even today, I go to the gym, I got my headphones on and shit like that. You know, every now and then I'll just do a quick workout with no music. But generally speaking, I like to work out with music on because it gets me pumped up. And different songs just give me a different vibe. And like some songs work better for shadow boxing. Some songs work better for lifting weights. Some songs work better for calisthenics, push-ups, sit-ups. Some songs work better for jogging, running, elliptical, whatever. And sometimes I just let the music take me different places mentally, and then I can create little games with the songs and things like that, right? Like, okay, like just for instance, Persona 3, the main battle theme, Mass Destruction. There's a rap verse, then a hook, rap verse, hook. Ooh, yeah. Da 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 da. Baby, baby. Right? And so, just as an example, I remember I would, right before the hook would come in, I would get down and then I'd do 50 push-ups. And then the verse would come in, I'd bounce around a little bit, loosen my arms up, throw a couple punches. When the second hook coming in, another 50, right? And so you kind of you can use music to get yourself pumped up, but also kind of structure like a game or a routine around the song. Like, I'll do this, like for this part of the song, then I'll switch and do that. And, so that's another way to just make working out fun. 'Cause I think that's one of the keys. It's got to be enjoyable beyond the benefits. You got to kind of enjoy the process. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I've been able to work out consistently, because I've created an enjoyable process for working out and ways to use my imagination, and to like sometimes just imagine, yourself like, oh, I'm training for a battle or something, right? Just thinking of whatever motivates you. Again, I'm training with Vegeta, right? And 300 times grab, wherever you got to take yourself mentally, just get into it and have fun. And so, yeah, as far as like getting into working out and developing the right mentality and a mindset to be consistent to get the most out of it, I would say you got to have inspiration. You got to understand the benefits and experience and feel the benefits and understand and embrace that and use that to your advantage. And you also got to make it fun. And the last one might even be the most important, which is just, again, making it fun. And I think that's why I've been able to be so consistent and fall in love with it, because I don't see it as something to dread. I know that I'm going to have a blast as I sweat, as I push myself, as I hurt, as I strain, as I struggle. I'm going to enjoy and get satisfaction out of that process from beginning to end. So I hope you guys enjoy that video, and remember, eat well and train hard. Johnny.